in this video how we calculate the price of tea, from the money we give to the farmer to the money you pay for it. Let's jump into it. Hi guys, this is Gabriele from nannuoshan, where we share the pleasure of drinking and discovering genuine farm tea. Today is a little bit of a special topic actually. I'm going to disclose to you how we calculate the price of tea. And you have to know, if you're not so used to our channel and you're new to it, that we have a whole playlist only about tea pricing, with videos like how much money the farmer get depending on the type of tea that you buy, if it is a specialty tea or it is a supermarket tea, how much of that money that you pay goes to the farmer. There is a video about that. Or for example about wholesale price, so how much actually does the price of tea cost at the source. I will put some link at the end of this video, and you will find also the link to the playlist in the description below. But now let's speak about retail price. How nannuoshan does calculate the price of tea? Well, before I go into the detail of the formula and I really show how all the calculation is done, let me share with you actually our company philosophy, how nannuoshan works. Well, nannuoshan is a kind of no profit. I'm saying a kind of no profit. Well, to explain that, first of all, I have to tell you what a no profit is. A no profit is a company that pay basically all the suppliers, all the goods, all the costs over the year, and at the end of the year has done no profit. It means that is able to cover with the earnings from the sales or the cost in which it has incurred, and there is no margin left, nothing. So we do the same, but with a tiny difference. In a no-profit company, usually all the people that work for the company get a salary. At nannuoshan, the partners, which means myself and at the time being Matthias and Elsa, we don't get any money for the work we do. So we work in a way for free. Some people call it hobby. I do that as well. When people ask me about my second job, I say it's not a job, it's just a hobby. I cannot tell you how long I will keep on doing that. I can just tell you that I've been doing nannuoshan for 7 years, and so far, including right now, I never had the need of taking money from it. So say that, having introduced to the no profit concept, let's speak about what other shops doing. As a matter of fact, we had an exchange also with other shops in Europe to understand if our price policy is similar, and I can tell you with the shops that I check, we have a fairly similar approach to pricing. I also asked some friends that have tea shop in China, and actually one friend, she told me she does it very straightforward. If she buys for 1, she sells for 2. If she buys for 10, she sells for 20. She just doubled the price. It's a way of doing that, but it has a tiny problem that I'm going to tell you soon. Before that, let's speak also about the online shops that are in China, because there are other online shops in China that sells to the Western world, like to Europe, to the US. So they might have a different price policy because they have also different costs. In China, workforce is cheaper, the rent of the warehouse is cheaper, they don't have to deal with having the tea shipped overseas to their facility or to deal with the custom duties. These are costs that then the end customer pays. So I've done a quick check and have the feeling that tea shops in China that sells to Europe have a little bit lower price. Up to you if it's worth it or not, or if environmentally makes sense or not. I do sometimes buy from shops in China, especially from the producers actually that sometimes have some shops running. Alright, so say that, which is the problem of applying a constant factor like my friend does, just multiply by 2. The problem is that the wholesale price of tea has a huge range. It goes from very, very cheap and affordable to extremely expensive. The difference for the same amount of tea can be up to 100 times. So you can pay what you pay for a certain amount of tea, €1, for another bee can be €100. We cannot apply that huge range to our retail shop. No one of you would buy the most expensive tea. Or the cheapest one was super cheap and would not even make up for the cost of packing the tea into the pouches. So what we do a more progressive approach that I will show to you in a second. What we have to consider also is that the fact that we, the partners, don't get money from nannuoshan doesn't mean that we make prices extremely low, because otherwise we would make problems to our competitors, right? So there are other shops and the owners might not be like me and like Matthias and Elsa that have other activities in our life. They have to live out of their tea shop, and it makes sense that for the whole tea community we also adapt our prices to the market. Nonetheless, we manage to keep a zero profit strategy because we reinvest every year into the company should we have made a profit. So what does it mean reinvesting in the company? It means starting new activities, like you know that now we are expanding into the US. We will have a new warehouse in the US so that also our customer in the US can buy directly from a shop in the US. But also it means giving you deals and offers. We've done even a video about that. We have a lot of deals and offers that we offer to our most loyal customer. Every month in newsletter there are deals. If you spend a certain amount of money, you get vouchers, you get discounts. There is a program to get 15% discounts on everything. Everything is a tea credit program. You buy the tea credit and you get 15% of TEAWARE and tea, and so on. So that's a way of giving back the money to our customer and to those that actually are most loyal to us. And also we use those profit to pay, for example, bonus to our employees, because I said the partners don't get money, but our employees in Berlin that work in the warehouse, that pack your tea, that pack your order, have to earn, of course, money because that's their living. So now that I introduced you to that, I will take my laptop and I will show you more details about the way we calculate actually the price of the tea. Before we get started, there is one concept I have to introduce. It is the concept of direct cost. I call it direct cost. I don't think it is an economic term, but what I mean with direct cost is our cost, and for us it's the sum of how much money we give to the producer, the price of the shipping from the country of origin to our facility in Berlin, and the cost of the custom duties. So the sum of these three makes the direct cost, and this is the basis for what I'm showing to you in a second. So in this chart here, you see that we have on this axis here is the direct cost, what we paid for the tea, and here you have it's our basis for the sell price, for the retail price. So pretty much looks like that. If we paid 25 euros, in this case it's for 100 grams of tea, you go up here, you cross the red line, you go here, and you have about 53 euros is our basis for the sell price, and so on. So the green line is simply a straight line, and it is the cost of the goods. You see, if you have 20 here, it goes 20 here, so the green line is just a reference. You have to look at the red line. Now, for very cheap tea, of course not zero, because tea is not for free, but for very cheap tea, we apply a factor that is about 2.8 times in this example. The numbers are not necessarily precisely what we will apply by the time you watch this video, especially we are in spring, we are completing the administrative calculation of the past year, and we are in the process of updating those values, because as said, we adapt the prices every year depending on if we calculated properly last year. If there are more orders, if orders increase, we can reduce the prices because we make more margin as the fixed costs are always the same, and so on. So there is a first threshold at 5 euros, and from very cheap to 5 euros is a straight line. It's pretty much a straight line, And then after that, the factor we multiply for reduces and reduces, and that's why between 5 euros and 30 euros is a flattening curve. In fact, when we reach 50 euros, 30 euros, here the factor we apply is no more 2.8, it is 2. And you can see it here, if you take 30, you go up to the red line, you have 60 years. So continuing from 30 euros on, it is again a straight line, but a fairly flat one. And in fact, for example, for a tea, that for 100 gram we pay 50 euros, the ratio we apply is, in this example, 1.6 times. Now, this helps us to calculate which is the basis for the sell price, but it's not yet the money you pay for the tea. And why? Because we have to consider some additional cost. First of all, the VAT, the value added tax. So for tea in Germany is 7%, so to that price we have to apply the 7%. On top of it, there are also other costs that we have to consider. For example, we have to consider the cost for the pesticides test. We have to consider that we do in the laboratory. We have to consider the fact that, well, you know, if you are a customer of us, that in our shop, starting from a certain expense, you pay less for shipment. In some cases, even the shipment is for free. And actually, I can guarantee you all the shipment that we charge is actually below cost. And we have to consider that aspect, the fact that we actually take over a portion of the shipment cost. So VAT, the laboratory test, and the shipment costs are all included in that calculation, and we have to be added on top. But let me do an example so that we really speak about numbers. So let's say that our direct cost, how much we paid for the tea, is 15 euros. Then you use that chart, and on that chart for 15 euros, you find that the red curve is at, let me check, I think it is at about 37 euros, 37.2. Let's see if it makes sense. Yes, that's the number I have in mind, and it makes sense. So 37.2. Then what we do, we apply the VAT 7%, so you get to 39.8, and then we have to consider this laboratory test and shipment cost, in that case about 2 euros, so we get to 41.8. This is the basis for our retail price for 100 gram. Divide by 2 for the 50 gram pouches, you get 20.9, so 21, because we round it up. We don't like this kind of pricing, 4.99, we usually round it up and down depending what is closest. In this case 21 euros, that's the price you pay for the 50 gram tea. Now if you want to buy a 20 gram tea, how do we calculate that price? You know that we have both sizes, 20 gram and 50 gram. So usually the 20 gram pouch is actually nothing else than simply the 50 gram pouch divided by 2. So in the example, 21 euro for 50 gram divided by 2, 10.50 euro is the price for the 20 gram. Why it is by the gram more expensive? Because the amount of effort that you have to put in packing the tea in the pouch is pretty much the same, no matter if you put inside 20 gram or 50 gram. Also the cost of the pouch, the cost of the labels that we apply on the pouch are the same. So if nonetheless the 50 gram pouch costs less than 15 euros, let's say 14, then we divide by 2 to calculate the price of the 20 grams, 14 divided by 2, 7, and then we add 1 euro. Just because simply divided by 2 would not cover those additional costs that I mentioned before. So in that case, it would cost 14 euros the 50 gram and 8 euros the 20 gram. All right. What about Puer? You know, we sell also Puer, and we don't sell only 50 gram pouches, but you can buy sometimes 100 gram pouches of Puer, and you can even buy whole bincha, whole Puer cake. So in that case, the calculation of the 50 gram price is exactly the same. Then once you have that 50 gram price and you want to calculate, for example, the price for 100 gram, it works like that. Let's say that 50 gram cost 15 euros, okay? Then for 100 grams, you double the price, 15, 30 euros. Then 30 euros, we apply a discount. We divide by 1.2, 30 euros divided by 1.2 is 25, and that's the price for the 100 gram. If you buy, sometimes you have a small bincha, 200 gram, then the factor we apply is not 1.2, it is 1.3. So we divide by 1.3, and if it is a 350 gram, we apply a factor of 1.5 for a large cake. So say that there are exceptions. It's not that we stick to the rule all the time. Sometimes it happens that a tea is particularly cheap and we got a very good deal. We cannot just put it at a too low price. It wouldn't be fair to the competitor, and also you would complain if then the next year would cost double. So we adapt that. But also if it is extremely expensive, and for example for some reason we have extremely high customs duties or extremely high shipment costs because we had to do an express shipment that next year we won't do, then actually we take much less margin. And it's already happened that for a few occasions that we had to actually offer the tea almost at cost. So this is just to give you an idea of how it works. I will spend a few words also about TEAWARE. So for TEAWARE is much easier. We simply apply a constant factor, let's say a factor of 2. Also that varies a little bit, but more or less it's about a factor of 2. If the TEAWARE is extremely cheap, we might do a bit more than that. If the TEAWARE is particularly expensive, then we might do a little bit less. Let's say pretty much the same principle as I was saying before. I need to drink, I'm speaking a lot today. So now, at this point, you might ask me, Gabriele, you just told me at the beginning that you are no profit, you take no money, and then you apply this type of factors, 2.8 times 2, of course you do money. Well, and I wish that the cost that I gave you, the shipment cost, the cost of the goods in the country of origin, the laboratory test and so on, I wish those were all the costs we have, but that's not the case. Think about, we have to pay the rent of the warehouse and our studio in Berlin, we have to pay the bills of course, and we have to pay our employee. I don't know if you have noticed, I didn't spoke about that, but someone have to pack the tea and someone have to ship the orders and have to clean our warehouse and so on. So these are also costs that we have to cover. Also tax advisor, that costs a lot of money, and that administrative work, first of all, I'm not able to do it myself, and even if I could, I would not, because you just don't want to do all that bureaucracy all the time. You need a tax advisor to make sure you're compliant with the law. Then what about the trip to China? You know, in no COVID time, we travel to China at least once a year. We go to the farmers, we have to pay for the flight ticket, for the hotel when we're there. All those costs have also to be covered, as well as simple office supply in our studio in Berlin. So this just to give you an overall idea. At this point was a lot of data, but just to summarize it in short. In our shop, nannuoshan is more or less based on a no-profit philosophy. On top of that, the partners don't get money for it, me for sure, and I don't foresee actually taking any money in the future. As for the other partners, I would actually like sooner or later to reward them a little bit for all the effort they put into it. You know, nannuoshan is my thing, I founded it, and they are trusting me and joining and putting a lot of work just for free. It would be nice if at certain points they get a little reward for that, but so far it never didn't happen. And we adapt the price anyway to those of our competitors, so that more or less for the same quality of tea we are at the same level. Speaking of shops that are in the US and in Europe, based locally and not with a warehouse in China or in Japan and shipping from there, that would be a different story. And what else? We adapt the price every year, and if we make some profit, because we have to keep the price as actually the mark, the market as the other shops, then we reinvest those money. They go back basically to you in the forms of deals, in the form of offers, and also we reward our employee that make a good job to get in the tea to you, giving them a bonus if possible at the end of each year. So this is pretty much the summary of all. Let me know if it wasn't clear, if you have any question, or just generally speaking, if you have any question about tea pricing in general. And I said there is a whole playlist. I'm happy to do one more video to explain that. By the way, then if you want to be notified for that one video or more videos, if you're interested, just go ahead and subscribe our channel if you haven't done it yet. And by this time, I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Give us a thumbs up if this is the case. And say that, that's all I have to say to you today. I will see you in the next video, and until then, keep on drinking good tea. Bye bye guys.